Welcome to the Bean Pod. This is your place for all things stocks and crypto. From beginner tips to expert picks. Use this as fuel for your investing journey, because when you're in the know, your money will grow. All views expressed by speakers on the Bean Pod are solely their opinions. You should not treat any opinion expressed on the Bean Pod as a specific inducement to make a particular investment or follow a specific strategy, but only as an expression of their opinion. This podcast is for informational purposes only.
Welcome to the Bean Pod. This is Shane, aka the Jolly Green Investor.
This is Josh, the Nifty Investor.
Today we're going to be talking about the rise of Tesla.
And Elon Musk.
What a guy.
Man, he has brought this company into something that is, I guess, going airborne, astronomical, SpaceX.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably been the best performing, major stock over the last, year, 5 years.
What's the market cap at now these days?
It's around 1 trillion.
1 trillion?
1 trillion. It floats up and down on 1 trillion. I think I looked it up. It's around up 5,000% in the last 5 years.
Right. So a lot of people often question, why does a car company have a $1 trillion valuation?
Right.
Why do you think that is?
It's because it's not a car company.
It's more than that, isn't it?
It's a tech company. They make cars, they make smart cars, they make electric vehicles. They've expanded into batteries, energy resources, solar energy, and it's a cult stock. It's a cult following behind the founder, Elon Musk, who people have fallen in love with, for better or for worse. And it creates those kind of environments where the price detaches from the actual value the company is being created.
Yeah, because you look at Tesla and what you see is a car. So you're always attached to this idea that that's it. It's a car.
Yep.
I was watching an interview with Kevin O'Leary and his son, I think it was his son. He's like, Dad, you should invest in Tesla. He's like, well, I'm not going to invest in a car company. It already has a valuation of blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And then I guess he's like, no, it's more than that. It's like, think about how far these cars travel. Think about all the data that they're collecting. Because they're smart cars, right? They're electric vehicles. They have these sensors. They're the LiDAR technology. They're traveling around. They're going through cities. They're going everywhere. They're collecting data the whole time. And then that's when Kevin O'Leary was like, okay, actually, this is something I could invest in.
For sure. Whenever you see people, the Tesla bears, and there are many Tesla bears on Twitter, there's a ton of Tesla bears, and they're always saying, look, Ford sold this amount of cars this quarter. Tesla sold this amount of cars. Why is well, that's not a correct comparison because, as we said, Tesla is not a car company. So anyone that's, basing a bear case off Tesla being a car company really doesn't get the full picture.
That's right.
And like any good growth tech stock, the future of Tesla is strong. It's not really about their earnings now or their car sales now. It's where they're going to be at in 5 and 10, 20 years. The world is moving one way. Tesla is one of the spearheading companies bringing electric vehicles, green energy, battery storage, all that kind of stuff to the forefront. So, there's tons of tailwinds in all the sectors they operate in. And that's what continues to make it such an attractive investment case, even though the valuation is at a trillion. This can be a multi-trillion-dollar company in the future. And when you have a generational talent and genius like Elon Musk at the forefront, that's typically something you don't want to bet against.
Mm-hmm. And I think sometimes people forget to think that Tesla also has the solar aspect to their business as well. And I like to have to create these crazy conspiracy type of theories and whatnot, maybe just kind of think outside the box a bit. I'm thinking if they have these solar panels on top of, so they're going to start generating all this revenue from the solar panels, right?
Yep.
They can start doing it commercially, residentials, all that stuff. Then you're going to have this car that could come along and, batteries are this big issue. The car could be the battery to power your solar panels. The storage for the power. All to
work together, right?
So I think it's a bigger plan.
Yep.
And that's what, if you start looking deeper down the road, I think that's what's going to be it's going to start coming all together.
Oh, absolutely. He's got a master plan. You'll be mining Doge with the Tesla in the metaverse while stealing the sun.
Yeah.
Excellent.
And I think another thing that sets Tesla apart too is their Gigafactory 1 that they have. It's bringing in-house production. When you have in-house production, he has, these robots that are going to do menial tasks that he's brought up.
Yeah.
It's going to reduce the cost to produce these batteries. And it's another competitive advantage over, something like Nikola or NIO or whatever. It's smart. Yeah. Super smart.
I think that's a good point to talk about really how they've gotten to this point. So they've revolutionized the car game, never mind all the other green energy stuff, but to get to the point where they are selling cars, they've done it differently than all the other traditional car companies, right? How have they done it? They've employed a direct sales model. So they've cut out all these franchise dealerships with sometimes not so honest car salesmen. So, the customer experience of buying a Tesla direct to consumer from the website, from the showroom, as opposed to going to a dealership and haggling, like it's more like buying an iPhone, right? And that has driven their success. And with that comes excellent service. You're not relying on the dealer for service. It's Tesla direct. I've heard stories. There's a problem with your Tesla. Boom. They send a guy out to your guy or girl out to your house to service the Tesla. It's direct. So the whole customer experience of buying and maintaining your product is much more like a consumer's electronics company like Apple or Samsung, which people already love. People are tuned to that. The next generations of Gen Y, millennials, our kids, that's the experience they want from a company. Right. They don't want to have to drive to a dealership and talk to a guy. They don't want to have to haggle for prices and get the price of a car at this dealership is different than this. That's an old school experience that is not transparent. And Tesla's gotten rid of all that. So companies are now following in their footsteps. And that is one of the huge drivers of success to see where they're at today.
I love the fact that you can also, like you said, like a consumable product, like a phone that we're used to, and you plug it in and it updates overnight. You can do that too with the Teslas. Yeah. Somebody could tweet him and be like, hey, Elon, why don't you add this to your car? My dog is getting hot. Now you can program it and they can send out an update to every vehicle. And then I think I saw something where there was like this warning that comes up and it shows people if they see a dog in the car, they're like, oh my God, there's this dog in the car. But it says, don't worry, the temperature of this car right now is at this degree. Like, really, you can just get these random updates just from people saying, hey, why don't you do this? Okay, we'll program it. Boom.
It's crazy. It's, you combine all the fact they have a head up on all the other car companies in terms of the customer experience. They've got a great product. They're in the spearhead of growing industries, whether it be electric vehicles, green energy. They're doing so many things right. They've built such an amazing moat around the company. You can't disrupt Tesla very easy. You can copy their cars, but they're probably not going to be as good. You can try to do the green energy, but you don't have the cars. You can do whatever they're going to do, but you don't have Elon Musk and the cult following around it. And when you're looking for companies and stocks and anything to invest in, having a moat is extremely important. Like a moat is something that's not easy to disrupt. Right. So we were talking about, psychedelics and cannabis companies before. You're talking about how they didn't have moats?
Yeah, it was the marijuana sector doesn't have moats because anybody can just grow a plant. Yeah. Whereas in the psychedelic sector, you have different molecules, intellectual property that prevent other people from doing it. You can't recreate an Elon Musk.
No, he is.
That's a competitive advantage.
Competitive advantage there, and just as you were alluding to earlier, their whole ecosystem works together.
It does,
with the smart technology in the car and the panels and the batteries and the ease of access, and it's a great ecosystem they have. They've come so far. Is the valuation a little bit high? Maybe. We have people like Kathy Wood, ARK Investments. They're a huge Tesla bull. They're always buying Tesla. She gave it some crazy price target. I think, like $4,000 or something. But honestly, I could see it happening.
Here's why I don't think that it's overvalued. And it's because you can't invest in people are investing in Elon. You can't invest in OpenAI, the Neuralink project that he has coming out. You can't invest in the Boring company that he has. You can't invest in SpaceX yet. Right. So all the money that's coming in, I think it's going towards, it's Elon. Mm-hmm. It's the guy with 60 million followers on Twitter. That's right. They're investing in him. So yeah, I don't know if you know about his Boring company that he started. I guess it had something to do with eliminating traffic in Los Angeles, I think it was. Yep. The guy just got a permit to build a hole. He paid like $30-$40 or something to build a permit, get this permit to dig a hole. And he just kept digging because they didn't say how big the hole could be.
How deep did he go?
Well, that's the thing. He's building an underground tunnel so that people can drive their vehicles. So,
dokily.
You know what I mean? It was a really interesting podcast. He had a really good interview. I listened to it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, it's a great example. All the other things he's doing at the same time as Tesla, the brain power behind this guy. And, it's a Elon Musk love fest right now, and all the things he's done is great. But it comes down to the fundamentals of the company and where we think Tesla's going and what are the competitors in this space, because, Tesla's revolutionized a lot of this. There's going to be a lot of people coming for Tesla's head, trying to replicate it, trying to pick them apart, the car business, the battery business, the solar energy business. So at this point, Tesla's a $1 trillion company. I don't know if you're going to see a 10x from Tesla anytime soon, but there are other companies in the electric vehicle space, in the green energy space, that might present a better opportunity from an investment perspective. What are some of those companies that you like?
Well, I know that Rivian just IPO'd, right?
Yep, that was a bomb.
They have $0 in revenue, and they're the third largest car. I think they're the third most valuable car maker in the world.
Yeah, kind of crazy.
Makes me question, like, how do you value these stocks these days?
You know, the stock price doesn't reflect revenue. A price to earn ratio of 1 million.
Of course.
When you have Amazon as your biggest investor, for Rivian's case, that's a huge, huge thing. I think it stepped into the market at a good time. Tesla was on the rise, and then they IPO'd. Whereas Tesla, if they had IPO'd when Tesla was kind of on the way down, it might not have gone the same way. But yeah, Rivian's a good example.
Nikola.
Nikola, not such a good example.
Yeah, where they go 5 billion. Like I think they have like $100,000 in revenue or something.
Yeah, there was some shady shit going on in that one.
Guy drawing up he drew a picture of a truck or something.
I think he probably got it done on Fiverr. Shout out to Fiverr, great company. There was also Lucid Motors.
Yeah,
we did well on that SPAC. We were talking about that SPAC for sure. That one IPO'd hasn't actually. It's coming on lately. Lucid Motors is coming along lately.
Yeah, you sent me some pictures recently. Of,
Well, yeah,
looked pretty sharp.
I was just down in Miami and I saw the Lucid Motors showroom. Had a little checkout of the car and the technology. It's basically like an upscale version of Tesla. I wouldn't say it's like the Ferrari of Teslas, but I think they start around $100,000, whereas Tesla's maybe got some cheaper options. But yeah, look, the competitors are out there. Lucid Motors is the more luxurious one. Rivian is building trucks and delivery vehicles, partnered with Amazon for that kind of stuff. There's obviously NIO.
So NIO is the one. There's a few companies I have like that I think that could compete, but I don't think they can.
Yeah.
NIO would probably be at the top of that list for me.
That don't think they can?
I think they could.
Yeah, I agree.
Just due to the fact that, it's Chinese, they, that huge population over there, they actually have revenue. I think they brought in like 1.4 billion or something like that.
They're legit.
The revenue's up like 130% year over year. I just think that if anybody's going to make it happen, it's going to be China, and it's going to be their version of the Tesla.
Yeah, I was actually looking at the NIO stock over the past week, and I think it's sitting at a pretty good spot right now. Given that Tesla's been on a huge tear, NIO really hasn't, caught along with that tailwind. As you said, China's a huge market, and surprising to some, and even myself, they're actually spearheading the electric vehicle movement over there. They're putting in, when the government says something over there, everyone does it. They have no choice. So they're putting in a lot of money and a lot of infrastructure into charging stations, incentivizing people to buy the electric vehicles, giving subsidies to the electric vehicle makers like NIO. So there's a lot going on there that you don't necessarily hear about all the time. And China likes to keep things within China. So I think they're probably going to do their best to keep Tesla away. I mean, I know a lot of their products are made there and stuff like that, but in terms of...
Yeah, didn't Elon get something to do? Wasn't he over there and he got...
There's something going on there.
He could manufacture
There's manufacturing going on in there. Because most of the world's electric batteries are manufactured in China. So NIO being there and being the number one consumer electric vehicle brand in China with a massive population that's growing into the electric vehicle industry, I can't see that one failing. So I would say NIO, I agree with you. I think that's probably the number one competitor to Tesla that I would invest in. The other ones like Rivian and Lucid, like those are speculative.
Yeah,
they have no sales.
Yeah,
you can do well with them, but they could fall off a cliff at any time.
The thing that makes me nervous about NIO is that it is Chinese. I don't, when we're over here in North America, the information that we get, although it is, can be manipulated by the media and all this stuff, but at least we're still getting the information.
Yep.
I never know if and when what they're going to do. You see what they do with Bitcoin and all that type of stuff. It's just like, I'm more hesitant because I don't know what they could do.
You're never like 100% secure with your investment in a Chinese company, as we saw with what they did with, all the tech companies, the guy from Alibaba or whatever, Tencent, that he just like went missing.
Just instant. They just make a decision, boom, they stick to it. And then all of a sudden, boom, tanks.
And all the Chinese stocks tanked after that significantly, like 50%, almost to the point where I think they might actually be decent buying opportunities right now. But the NIO, maybe that's what's holding it down. But for me, yeah, NIO's a great one. I don't currently hold any, but I was maybe thinking about adding it to my portfolio.
Yeah, for sure.
There are some other, not maybe less speculative ones that I know we've been talking about in the past in the Beanstalk Discord, Lion Electric being one of them. So they are going after the shipping, the trucks, delivery trucks, and they also have a deal with Amazon. So, you know, when you think about all the vehicles that have to be replaced by electric vehicles, Teslas can't do it all. So delivery vehicles, postal vehicles, trucks, semis,
Right.
all that, you know, construction vehicle, you know, there's so many things that will over the decades be replaced by electric. So you find the companies that are building them that have the good partnerships and deals and possible pipelines.
Right.
Those are the companies that could, if those do work out, they could offer you the 10x, 20x investment opportunity that Tesla would have 5 years ago. But it's hard to identify them.
It's also hard to build a car. And it's amazing that people are even starting up car companies.
Yeah.
Like, the amount of effort that goes into, you know, you got to build the seats in Ontario, and you got to build you get the tires from down in Michigan. And it's like all these parts that have to come together for just in time manufacturing. And you know, you have the labor shortages. Like it's just incredible that somebody would even start one. So my mind starts to turn to other companies who are already in the car space. So maybe Ford or General Motors, people who already have the infrastructure in place and the ecosystem to build out, you know, these electric vehicle cars. My problem is that I don't think they're doing it fast enough. Like General Motors said they're going to have only electric vehicles by 2035.
Right.
That's fucking 14 years away. You know, and we have Tesla's pumping out electric vehicles every single day. And not to mention the climate needs the changes. So, but 2035 doesn't cut it, you know, but then you have Ford as well. They're going to have 600,000, I think that was just released today, 600,000 EVs by 2023. And they want 40% of their fleet to be EV by 2030. Again, that's 9 years away.
Yep.
So I want to look to Ford. I want to look to GM, these companies that already have the infrastructure in place. But to me, it's like they're just doing it too slow because they have these other deals in place or whatnot, right?
They're big companies at the end of the day. You know, they're a massive old school corporations, institutions almost. And you know how slow those move. They're like governments. They make a decision 5 years later, it happens. Whereas, you know, if something like Tesla, top down Elon Musk tweeting all the time, he can make a decision real quick. So they have a huge advantage. They almost operate like a startup where they're pivoting and they're doing new things and things happen quickly. Whereas I agree with you 100%. I think in the long term, companies like GM, Ford, Audi, Toyota, they're going to take a massive chunk of the market from Tesla. But one, as I alluded to earlier, these companies are going to be building electric vehicles. Tesla is building smart cars. So it's not really a fair comparison. Like a Tesla Model S Roadster in the back here is going to always be a different experience than the electric Corolla, Toyota Corolla, or the electric Hummer. You know, those aren't going to have the integrated smart systems with the Tesla battery, with the Tesla charger already there, at the Tesla service, direct to consumer model. It's not going to be the same. And those big institutions will never be able to replicate the moat that Tesla's created. So, well, I do think GM and Ford specifically are interesting investment opportunities right now because they're probably going to be making a decent effort to convert to electric. It's just, as you said, Tesla's got such a head start.
Yeah. And, you know, in the area of the world that we live in, it seems as though when I look around, I only see people driving Teslas. It seems like every day there's another Tesla on the road. I'm not seeing other, and don't get me wrong, I can recognize an electric vehicle. You can when you stay up to date on this stuff, you can recognize them. It's like, but Tesla, it's like every second car on the road, it's another Tesla. They're doing something right. And people like it. It's a brand and they're affordable.
For
and
sure.
I think that was Elon's goal, is that he wants electric vehicles in everybody's hands. He wants them, I think, they're like $35K or something starting price. Like that's a low price,
cheaper
man,
ones
for an EV vehicle, you know?
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Like, as you said, you know, GM or Ford, they're saying only electric by this date. And I've seen other car companies, Honda, Toyota, they're all making the same mandates. Countries as well. I think there's a bunch of fossil fuel reduction regulations that are going to be going in. I know Europe always spearheads this kind of stuff, saying no more fossil fuel cars on the road after 2030. No more fossil fuel cars in production after 2035. You know, there's all these things are happening. So there's going to be a lot of cars that are going to have to be replaced. I read a stat, some Bloomberg energy report said that by 2040, 58% of passenger vehicles globally will come from electric vehicles.
Right.
So 60% EVs by 2040 sold. And then I said that at the same time, that will still only make up less than 1/3 of all cars on the road because of all the legacy cars.
Right.
So this is like 100-year transition we're in here.
It's massive. So like let's say, you know, you're driving around your little $2,000 Honda Civic or something, right? You're an 18-year-old kid, 19-year-old kid. You have to wait until these electric vehicles that are brand new, and the people like, you know, who are in their 30s or 40s who are doing, you know, they have a career, they're successful. You have to wait until those become to a point where then the 18, 19, 20-year-olds can now afford to even buy one, and it's been passed down, right? So
No fun.
it takes time. It takes so much time.
It's going to take a lot of time to get those rust buckets off
That's
the road.
what I mean.
Yeah.
Because everybody can just jump up and, yeah, I'll get the new $30,000 whatever electric vehicle. It just doesn't work that way. A guy who's delivering pizza, it's like he needs the $2,000 beater or the $1,000 beater.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to happen over time. It's not going to be an overnight process.
Yeah.
In terms of an investment perspective, I think it's always as hard as it is sometimes to think long term, especially in these growth sectors where the money isn't necessarily being made by these, especially by these car companies that are not producing any cars, but the valuation is so high. But if you think about some of the stats that we just said, you know, this is the 60% of the cars sales by 2040. No one's going to be selling fossil fuel cars by 2030 in certain countries. You know, the opportunity is there for these companies. So if you can look and do the research into some of these companies like Lucid, Arrival, Lion Electric, Rivian, there's tons of gems out there. We talk about them all the time in the Beanstalk Discord, all the electric vehicle companies. Find the ones that you like that have the good partnerships with good roadmaps and park some cash there.
Yeah.
And that's potentially where you're going to see Tesla-like gains in the future when they start pumping the cars out.
Yeah.
Whereas Tesla, from an investment perspective right now, I mean, I missed out on it. Kudos to everyone that was in it early. I know my brother was early on Tesla. He made a nice amount on that. I didn't listen to him. I usually do listen to him.
Your brother's a smart guy.
I know he is. I usually listen to him, but this time I was like, yeah, it's already at $300. There's no way.
That's what I meant. Okay, so Tesla was bouncing. I remember watching it going from 250 to 300, 250 to 300. I'm like, next time it comes down to 250, I'm buying a shit ton of this.
Yep.
And it like came down to like 260, 270, and it just went right back up. And I've been kicking myself ever since.
Yep.
You know, and just to bring this up, one other point is how many other of these car manufacturers are investing in Bitcoin? You know?
Yeah.
How many of those have that on the balance sheet like Elon does?
You never know. NIO could, and they would never disclose it because they're in China.
That's right.
But yeah, I mean, the whole crypto side of it.
It's just another thing that Elon brings to the table.
100%. It's a wild card factor.
Yeah.
And it's a good wild card. There can be bad wild cards. Sometimes Elon, he tweets some crazy shit.
He just sold a bunch of stock in it.
He put the poll up on Twitter asking if he should sell 10% of his Tesla stock, which was in billions of dollars, because Bernie Sanders said something. Oh man, and then the share price predictably tanked.
Of course.
So as a Tesla shareholder, that's not good. But as someone who wants to get in, we should be taking those opportunities. Next time Elon dumps the stock, that's your buy opportunity. As soon as he posts a picture of him smoking weed and saying, taking company public at 420. Remember that one?
He's clever, man. Was that on a Joe Rogan podcast?
That was a Joe Rogan podcast. He was smoking weed on Joe Rogan podcast. He tweeted about taking it public at 420, and the stock went down went up, and then he almost got sued. Anyway, you never know what he's going to do. No. He's a wild card.
Yeah.
But that's what makes investing fun and interesting sometimes.
Makes it exciting for sure.
Yeah. But for me, when you're looking at Tesla and other electric vehicle companies that are trying to compete, it's not clear if it's economically viable to produce these electric vehicles, have the charging stations built, all that. Like, we don't know where the economics are in this industry because it's so early. So are the charging stations making money? Maybe not. GM and Ford can probably mask a electric vehicle production because they already have the factories and the tools there. But for a company like Rivian or Lucid to build everything from scratch, is that going to be viable? Are they going to be around in 10 years? Or are they going to go bankrupt because not all people are buying the cars? It's, pumping billions of dollars into R&D and parts, supply shortages, labor shortages. It's a tough road ahead for anyone trying to do what Tesla's done.
Yeah.
So will they be economically viable? I don't know. It's a risky game for sure, investing in Tesla competitors. I would say other than NIO.
Yeah, I'm with you. Those are my two picks in the
Yep.
in the race here.
Well, I think that's a pretty good summary of the electric vehicle industry. There's exciting things going to be happening. Congratulations to all the Tesla shareholders of the last 5 years. And we'll see what the next 5 brings.
Awesome. Appreciate y'all. Thanks for tuning in.
Cheers, guys.